Pikmin documentary, part 1.
Hi there, my name's Miles, and if you didn't know, there's this niche little game Nintendo has been inconsistently making for the past 20 years. The name of the series is Mario 128, Adam and Eve, Pikmin. Yeah, Pikmin, you probably heard about it, but you likely have zero clue what it is.
Don't worry, that's okay. When I'm done with you, you'll become one of us.
This movie of a YouTube video is dedicated to the normal human beings who don't find the image on screen amusing, who don't cry when they see a flower guy. This is the Pikmin documentary. Now, to pad out this video to be as long as humanly possible, we're going to go over the history of Pikmin, or Nintendo. Back in 1889, this dude named... Oh my god, I'm gonna mess this up so bad. Fushiharo Yamauchi really liked to do 5-minute YouTube crafts. So he made a company named Nintendo Kopai. Nintendo Kopai? Kopai? Did he just make a Pikmin reference 122 years before the game in which Kopais are in comes out? Now that's a deep cut. He's real cool. Nah, the company started as an illegal gambling company. Yeah, the people who made Super Mario Bros. Started as an illegal gambling company. Well, back then in Japan, all forms of gambling were ruled as illegal. And card games were ruled as illegal as well. But what does Nintendo Kopai even mean? Well, most people don't even know what Nintendo means. It's apparently leave luck to heaven. Not helping the gambling allegations, Nintendo. And Kopai means playing card. So, Mr. Yamauchi's statement that the cards were just art isn't true. It's in the literal name. Yeah, and through time the company stayed the same, until Hiroshi Yamauchi, a great-grandson or something of Fushiharo, completely changed the company. He made toys and hotels and other crap. Like, lots of stuff. Until they made arcade games. These were real big in the 80s, alright? I know everybody's real young here. Probably like 8-year-olds on their mom's iPad. Oh. They made a few games until they landed on Donkey Kong by a man named Shigeru Miyamoto. He's gonna be a real important dude in this video. He kinda made Pikmin and literally everything good at Nintendo. Mario, Zelda, Star Fox? What the heck is a Star Fox? Metroid Prime 2. Just Prime, not normal. Donkey Kong 2, kind of an extension of Mario. And everything was A-okay for the first two consoles. Only thing bad that happened is this Rad tries to challenge them, and it didn't work. Then Nintendo made the PlayStation. Well, Sony did, but Nintendo caused it. It's a long story. So then they developed the Nintendo 64. It did good. Not good enough. But funny name, right? 64? Why? 64 bits. Well, if you do a little math, what's 64 times 2? My audience is old enough to know what multiplication is. 128. 128. Wait. Hey, that rhymes. Chapter 2. Pikmin 1. Now, in the intro, when I was giving off names for Pikmin, I mentioned two things. Mario 128 and Adam and Eve. After the 64, they made the GameCube. Not Nintendo 128, which kind of makes it seem like they changed the name last minute, because they showed off this tech demo named Mario 128. First showed at Space World 2000, Space World being E3, or just now the Game Awards, RIP. Miyamoto showed off, guess how many Marios? 128! Wow! Just going around the map being funny little guys. Now, in my opinion, that sounds like a horrible game idea. But then again, it led to some of my favorite games ever. And the video game where you simply watched Marios go around do nothing was scrapped for a game where you watched two people simply do nothing. Adam and Eve was a game where you played God. You could pit the two main characters, you guessed it, named Adam and Eve, against each other, or make them have a family. Oh, cute. Yeah, that sucks. They scrapped that. Now, by the time Nintendo's made the GameCube, there's already the best-selling console of all time, the PS2, and the Xbox. So they have a lot of competition. Mario is old news. Nintendo isn't cool. That's a good tactic. Nintendo is no hip or cool or insert 90s slang. I mean, that's exactly what the Rat did. And yeah, the Rat failed, but Nintendo needed something new. They were old news, so Miyamoto was tasked with making the next Super Mario. And what did he come up with? This little guy. That's what he thought would woo over the world with all of its coolness, you know? Well, to further understand what was going on in his head, we have to understand his very, very sad backstory. Well, one time, Mr. Miyamoto was casually sitting in his yard. He was looking at the ants. Apparently, as he got older, he got more and more interested in gardening. He wondered about such a game where we all work together, like ants. So he made Pikmin. Pikmin 1 is a masterpiece. Back when they mostly didn't care about the story because it wasn't a status quo. So video game devs could put all their money into the gameplay. And that's why Pikmin 1 is peak. And even back then when the story wasn't status quo, they managed to cram a pretty good one in. It's not no GTA or Red Dead Redemption 2, but it's pretty good. Picture this. You play as a half-inch man named Olimar, who has a wife and 2 kids, 1 boy, 1 girl, and a dog named Bulby. That's important for some reason. The dog's name is important. One day, he probably got in a fight with his gritty wife, and so he took his company ship, the SS Dolphin, which he kind of has a schizo relationship with, because he believes it can talk. It just doesn't. He's stupid. Listen, we love Olimar here, okay? He's a good guy. He goes around with the dolphin, and he's just driving around, probably because the wife went on a spending spree again. But suddenly, his ship gets hit by an asteroid. Asteroid count 1. And he falls into a planet without a name yet. But it's literally just Earth. And he falls into a place which he coins the impact site. Because, it's where he fell and impacted, and it's a site area. He falls with his dismantled ship, which isn't capable of flying yet. The planet which he has fallen into has a substance known as oxygen, and his life support will run out in 30 days. Olimar realizes that he also has 30 ship parts to find. Boom! Mind blown! If he gets 1 ship part a day, he can leave! Wow! But there's 2 problems. 1, the ship parts are all scattered around the world. And 2, they're gigantic. How is he going to get them himself? The camera is locked on a giant POV of Olimar, very close up. You can normally change it, but right now you can't. That always messes with me. I like to keep it in the middle, but that's not possible until Olimar finds the onion. Olimar gets in the way of the onion and is knocked back, something he does not do for the other onions. The onion sprouts a single Pikmin, or Olimar names it Pikmin because it resembles a pick carrot. His favorite food from his home planet. Oh, how cute. Within an instant of encountering a Pikmin, he can already guess what it's going to be able to do. Dismiss it, you could throw it, you could use it to attack things, carry things. How does he know this? He also knows the buttons you could use. Is this meta, chat? They do not tell you what to do with your Pikmin. You only have 1, so you naturally want more. And that big thing with the number 1 on it seems very attractive. It's known as a pellet posy. You throw your Pikmin at it, which you learn to do with it, and the Pikmin attacks it until it falls down, takes it to the onion, and 1 more Pikmin appears. You rinse and repeat until you have enough to get your first ship part. Olimar can now leave the planet. Not for good, though. He has to go back down during the day, because at night, scary monsters. He lands in an area he coins the Forest of Hope, because there's hope. He has hope. He's a good guy. Even though being the second area, it teaches you a lot of the core mechanics. Pikmin can't swim, and everything and everyone wants your Pikmin dead, including the main creature you're fighting against, the Bulborbs, or as the family is called, a grub dog. Now the grub dogs have a giant family you're fighting against. Number 1, the red spotty Bulborb. He's the normal Bulborb. He sleeps during the day and hunts at night. Number 2, the red spotty dwarf Bulborb. Long name. Now, he may look like the baby of the Bulborb, but he's really not. He's just really small. Instead of sleeping during the day, he patrols around the big spotty Bulbears to make sure they're okay. He then sleeps at night. What a great relationship. They should get married. Next is the Bulbear. He's just a stronger Bulborb. That's it. Lastly is the Water Dimple. He doesn't really look like it, but he's just a water Bulborb. Those are the only Bulborbs in Pikmin 1. There are no others. There's none, nope. It may seem like a short list, even if you've played the other games, but that's because a lot of the other Bulborbs come in Pikmin 2, with their caves. We're going to talk about caves later. After defeating the first two Bulborbs, you get the yellow Pikmin, which are lighter and can be thrown higher. They can also carry bomb rocks, which are explosives that break down walls and kill Bulborbs faster. But why can the yellows only do it, instead of everybody else? I don't know, they didn't have enough to do. Speaking of special abilities, the reds are resistant to fire because they're red, and they have a 0.5 stronger attack than the rest. There are two bosses in the Forest of Hope, the burrowing Snagret and the armored cannon beetle. The Snagret returns in every other game, but the armored cannon beetle really appears a lot in this game. He appears a lot. In fact, I'm pretty sure the only other time he appears is in Pikmin 4. That's just a guess, don't take my word. After getting enough ship parts in the Forest of Hope, you can go to Hell. I mean the place, Mom. It's called the Forest Navel. The Forest Navel is a giant cave. Not like ones in Pikmin 2 and 4, but they're kind of similar in the way that they're terrible. It's really dark and scary. And one of the first things you'll find is blue Pikmin. Remember when I said Pikmin can't swim? Well, these little fellas can. Do you see those mouth-looking things? No, they're gills. I just learned that today. They can do all your watering needs. They're also the most neglected and hated Pikmin. Not by the fans, by Nintendo themselves. And blue Pikmin suffering now. Another thing you'll immediately counter is the bread bug. Bread bugs suck. I say it now. The Forest Navel introduces you to a lot of new enemies, such as the fiery blowhog, which blows fire at you. And Lucifer himself, the Wollywog. These guys have single-handedly killed millions of Pikmins all around the world. They bounce and crush Pikmin. And you could throw your Pikmin at them, but guess what? They don't care. They shake it off like they're Taylor Swift or something. Then they'll go right back to crushing your Pikmin. They're evil. There are also creatures named shearbugs. Females are passive, but males will eat your Pikmin. There are two bosses here, not including Breadbug. Number 1 is the Puffstool, and second is the Beady Longlegs. Puffstool is a pushover, but he does the coolest thing ever. Emo picked mop. These are the Pikmin, whereas the fans call it Puffmin. The Beady Longlegs are pretty scary, but all they do is stomp around, and you could just throw yellows at them, so it's not that hard. It's scary the first time, though. It's pretty cool, right? No hate. After that horrible area, we go to the best area, the distant spring. I feel as if the entire time I'm in the area, I'm slowly taking over. Whether it be clearing the area of its monsters or building bridges, it's so fun. It has the most creatively put together area, with the areas of wood, grass, and the large body of water with enemies guarding ship parts. The enemies here are the previously mentioned water dimple, the puffy blowhog, which is a blowhog who just blows the Pikmin with his air, and this is the first time you see a bullbear. There are also swooping snitch beetles, which take your Pikmin and put them back in the ground. Just annoying. Speaking of being annoying, sheer grubs can fly now. No fun. The armored cannon beetle returns as a boss. Wait, remember the impact site? It has another ship part hidden in a clam, and sometimes different bosses appear. The Gulix, remember that, and the Mumuta. He's just a nice dude. And in the distant spring, there's an egg. The egg is there until day 15. If you break it before then, nothing happens. But if you let it stay or don't make it there in time, it awakens. Inside it is the Smoky Prog. He doesn't want to kill your Pikmin. He just goes right to the onion and stands there until you come. If a Pikmin touches him, they die. So how are you supposed to deal with him? It's actually quite difficult, but once you kill him, he drops this pearly thing, and if you put it in a specific onion, you get 100 of that type. The Smoky Prog is said to be a failed baby Mumuta, which is weird because it's bigger than a Mumuta. On the topic of the Mumuta, do you see the patterns on them? It's the same as the Pikmin onions. Is there some type of connection? Who knows? By this time, you should have enough parts to go to the final trial, which may seem like some grand dungeon you must go through, but you simply build a bridge and fight the final Bulborb. When I told you that there were 4 Bulborbs in this game, I lied. There's 5. The Emperor Bulblax is the hardest enemy to fight in the entire game. Wally hops aside. He towers on your Pikmin, and you can't just throw it on his back because it's covered in grass, so you can't affect him. You're forced to go on his face. And if you let the Pikmin stay there too long, he'll use his tongue to swoop up your Pikmin and kill them. You must throw bomb rocks into their mouth, sacrificing a yellow Pikmin to get some time to damage him, and that does not last for long. Pikmin will die. But after that, you will have all the ship parts, all 30. And you will get the best ending. Wait, best ending? There's multiple Yeah, baby, there's multiple endings. There are 3. The bad ending, the normal ending, and the best ending. We'll go over the bad one first. I failed to mention that you only need 25 parts to get the normal ending. If you somehow don't do that in 30 days, you get the bad ending. Olimar will leave, knowing that his ship will fail him, and he crashes. The Pikmin then put him in the onion, and he sprouts out as the final type of Pikmin, the Olamarnamin. Pretty dang gruesome. Now remember this ending. It's going to be a theory for Pikmin 4, but it's debunked though. So now there's the normal ending. He gets 25 parts in 30 days. 5 parts aren't even necessary. He leaves. Nothing special. The best ending is gotten if you get all 30 ship parts. You leave, and the Pikmin start attacking a Bulborb, showing that they're strong enough to do that on their own without any guidance. When you leave the planet, multiple different colors of onions show up, leaving the door open for potential sequels. Yeah, but there's still more to talk about. We'll have other things to talk about before moving on to Pikmin 2, such as the success, the sales, and the song. Pikmin 1 was pretty successful. It was released the day before as a Smash Bros. Game, which, really, why did they have to do it like that? It was only promoted by Miyamoto and Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion had this thing where you could view a Pikmin movie. That's pretty much it. The sales were in the million. Not millions, the million. 1.6. 100,000 in the first few weeks, but it slowed down to 10,000 for the next. But, to further promote the game, they had a virtual band known as Strawberry Flower create a song called Aino Uda, I think. The song is basically as a POV of a Pikmin. You love Olimar and everything, you know? The song sold more copies than the game. But as a new IP stacked up against other brand new games right beside it, it did pretty good. Not only that, but it's on a poorly selling console, the GameCube. That's going to be a theme. And it's going to play into Pikmin 2 as well. Do you want to play a little game? I'm going to give you 4 options in which the way Pikmin 2 was announced. And you're going to have to decide which one is the real one. Only one is real. Number 1, at Space World. Number 2, a commercial. Number 3, a website. And number 4, the Japanese Playboy magazine. I'll give you a couple seconds to decide. It's really weird. There's one distinct option. You might, be wanting to choose that. I'll just give you some time to think. Let it sink in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's option 4. The Japanese Playboy magazine. Miyamoto really thought that was a good idea. All the Pikmin fans are having that thing. What the heck is wrong with this dude? It's like he wants it to fail. Alright, we're going to talk about Pikmin 2 now. The most divisive Pikmin game, for a good reason. And it's the caves. Pikmin 2's most divisive feature and main premise is the caves. And that's going to make it really hard to talk about because of the way they're AI generated. So each cave or sub-level is going to be vastly different from me to you. So I don't really know what to do. So I'll try and give you a description of the type of enemies, new Pikmin, and bosses you'll find, as well as treasure, which we'll get into later. Nintendo sequels kind of have a weird track record, whether it be Mario 2, or the 2 versions of it, one being extremely difficult and one not even being a Mario game, or just the entirety of Adventure of Link, which isn't good. Another sequel that comes to mind is Majora's Mask. I like to compare Pikmin and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and Pikmin 2, in the way that they're eerily similar and vastly different. Pikmin 2 was in development for 2.5 years. They reused a lot of the assets, but also made a ton of new ones, with all the new enemies and creatures. Pikmin 2 is infamous for their weird advertisements. More specifically, the hot dog ad, which I will now grace your eyes and ears with.
I asked for mustard. Take it to me.
Control was good. You can see how good as two commanders lead a planetary treasure hunting Pikmin 2 with two-player mode. Make the best scavenger win. Only for Nintendo GameCube. Rated for everyone.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But now it's finally time we actually get into the game Pikmin 2. Chapter 3. Pikmin 2. Not Pikmin 3. Now, Pikmin 2 does something a lot of Nintendo sequels don't. It's a direct sequel. It picks up immediately after Pikmin 1. Olimar's on his way back from the Pikmin planet, and when he lands, he immediately gets bad news. The president of the place he works for, Hocotate Freight, freight meaning delivery. I didn't know that. So Olimar's technically just an Amazon guy at this point. Well, they've gone into an extreme debt, because this guy here, Louie, was transporting some golden pick carrots, the ones we mentioned earlier, that Olimar loves so much. And a evil space bunny went into his ship and took it all. How could that space bunny do that? So Olimar, without being able to see his wife and kids, who probably think he's dead at this point, is immediately sent back to the Pikmin planet to go get treasure. They're sent back because the Hocotate ship, which is just a jerk, it really mean. And it's probably the reason that Olimar thinks the dolphin can talk, because it talks a lot. It also kind of enslaves Olimar and Louie, but it picks up a bottle can, and it's like $100, or 100 pokos. That's what they call it on Hocotate, and that's like more than an average salary in Hocotate. So they're sent all the way back. He didn't even get to see his family. And Olimar doesn't Olimar. It crashes the freaking ship. That's crash number 2. They land in a place called Valley of Repose. And the first day is mainly getting them back together. It's a good way of teaching you how the game works. It's really nice. It's actually better than the impact site because it gives you some direction. Pikmin 2 winning over Pikmin 1 isn't going to be a common occurrence here. And on day 2, you enter your first cave. Caves. It's going to be very hard to talk about them, so I'm just going to read what they do on what they say on Piclopedia. I'm lazy. The first cave that Olimar and Louie go into is the Emergence Cave, one of 14. There's 14 caves, but probably like 100 sublevels. And this is when you first encounter the newest Bulborb. Oh my god! There are like 1,000 new Bulborbs in this game. Get used to it. It's the Snow Bulborb, but it's like the small ones. Dwarf, small Bulborb. Say that 5 times fast. And then in the next sublevel, you see this globe. But it takes 101 Pikmin. You can only have 100 Pikmin. So, drum roll, everybody. We're talking about the newest Pikmin. Oh my god. Drum roll, please. I'm using one hand for this. It's the purple Pikmin. Now, these guys are obese. So they weigh 10 Pikmin, which means they can carry like 10 times as much as a normal Pikmin can. How cool is that? And so now that you get this globe, you could go to other areas, which is like really cool because they know where to go. How cool is that? You return to the Valley of Repose later, but that's after you get blue Pikmin. Now you go to the Awakening Woods, which is pretty cool. I like this place. Did you know the Awakening Woods is literally just the Forest of Hope? It's crazy, and that happens a lot in this game. There are 4 caves here. The Hole of Beasts, the White Flower Garden, the Bulblax Kingdom, and Snagret Hole. But before you go there, you fight some Bulborbs. They're back. They're a staple. But you also meet 2 new horrifying enemies. Hurry! The first one you encounter is kind of a mouthful. Excuse me if I get this wrong, but the first one you encounter is the cloaking Burrownit. They kind of just have their mouth go at your Pikmin one at a time, so they're not that hard to deal with. The second, I'm not even going to attempt to say the name of, it's the creeping Chirancelinimum. They're really creepy. Yeah. Another thing you encounter is the ultra spicy spray, which if you get 5 of, you get an entire jar of. When your Pikmin use this, they kind of go ultra instinct mode. I don't watch anime though. And it makes them really strong for a short period of time. You also see the bitter spray, which if you get 5 of, you also get a jar of. If you spray it, the enemies nearby will just go, they just turn into stone for like 10 seconds. And it's extremely broken. It does not appear again. The first cave we're going to be talking about is the Hole of Beasts. It has 5 sub-levels, which are just little levels. And there's like up to 20. It's really hard. Let me introduce you to fear. Not the feeling, a mechanic. If something comes out of the ground and scares your Pikmin, they go wild. And these little guys called Metites, that's exactly what they do. It comes out of nectar eggs. I never talked about nectar, didn't I? I'm special. Each cave has a boss, and this one's boss is the Empress Bulblax. Remember the Emperor Bulblax? Well, that's his wife right there. She's the one who has all the Bulboid babies, which is weird because she's underground. Do the Bulboid babies kind of have to just like escape? They gotta go on like a mission to get out. She also has these things called Bulborb larvas, which are the actual baby Bulborbs, not dwarf baby Bulborbs. Ugh. The next cave is the White Flower Garden. It's where you get the white Pikmin. Hooray! There's literally nothing of note until the boss, besides the fact that you get white Pikmin. It's just normal enemies. But the boss for the sub-level is the Burrowing Snagret. I think they put him there because you're intended to kill your white Pikmin here. Of course nobody does that, because white and purple Pikmin are just scarcities in this game. I failed to mention, they don't have onions. They never get onions until Pikmin 4, even though they're shown off in the ending of Pikmin 1. And that's pretty much it for White Flower Garden. And I know we're almost 30 minutes in, and like 1% of people are still watching, but I'm going to ask you to subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to do anything else, like or turn on notifications. Just subscribe. Every comment on this video from somebody who has subscribed to this channel will get harder than pinned. I'm just saying. After this, you get the next area, their perplexing pool. You're presented with 2 options. Go get yellow Pikmin, or go to the Citadel of Spiders. Don't go to the Citadel of Spiders yet. It's just not a good choice. If you didn't know, that cave is filled with electrical things. And unlike everything else, electrical stuff is a one-hit kill. After defeating a fiery Bulborb, you get the yellow Pikmin. Hooray! Which, for the only time in this series, their abilities stay the same. Okay, now go to the Citadel of Spiders. Or go back to the Awakening Woods and get blue Pikmin. I would go get blue Pikmin, to be honest. There's some electrical thing near where the blues are, so you gotta get yellows to go get them. Now, after that, you have all the Pikmin. Yippee! Okay, now go back to the Citadel of Spiders. And if you guessed, there's a lot of spiders. What? And it contains a lot of these little spider guys who either have bomb rocks on their head or take your stuff. And the cave ends with some horrors. The beady Longlegs is back, and worse. But that's nothing compared to the hardest cave in the entire game, the submerged castle. How do I describe the submerged castle? It's submerged underwater, submerged. So you can only use blue Pikmin. And of course there's going to be every single hazard that is bad for them. Yippee! That's fine, it's just annoying. But if you stay there longer than 4 minutes and 49 seconds per sub-level, he appears. Remember the Gulix that I said was important from Pikmin 1? Well, the Water Wraith is its big brother, and he's mad. He can only be killed by purples, so your blues are useless. They get steamrolled in a second. They die. He chases you through the 5 sub-levels, and it's horrible. But there's one positive here. The Bulbmen. These little guys are Pikmin, are Bulborbs. Now you gotta kill their moms, which they're just totally okay with, but then they become your friend. Hooray! Bulbmans never come back. I mean, at least they're not the Puffmen who don't even have a name. And after that, that's it for Pikmin 2. The game was over, and that concludes the first part of the Pikmin documentary. Thank you for watching. What? That's not it. What do you mean? Everything we paid off the debt, now we're leaving. Wait. Where's Louie? Where's Louie?